Welcome to our show. Thank you, all you no spinners, for joining us. If you're listening to us on the podcast, you might want to watch YouTube every now and then on Tuesday night because you're going to want to see the expressions of the dude in the third box over there. He's easy to piss off, and I'll accomplish it some way. Good morning, Kendra. Before we introduce Allan, how are you today?
I'm doing very well, thank you. It is very warm here. There's across this country right now, there's all kind of different weather because I'm hearing dry here, cold here, hot here. So all good.
Well, we also have joining us, there's a handful of people in my mental Rolodex that are guys that I know will take it the way I meant it, will tell me if I'm wrong, and that I could give my last dollar to or my grandbaby to, and they would take care of them. Truth here. And that would be Allan. After 30 years of us both being around, Allan Jordan. And he stands for everything that's credible in our sport. And I can't think of a better person to be on No Spin Rodeo podcast than the infamous but not so famous Allan Jordan. Hello, Allan. How are you today?
Hello, good.
Oh, he's going to get shy.
Yeah, he's going to play shy.
No, I'm not.
No, he's the real deal, and we're happy to have him on. So, Kendra, let's start off the top of the show with a little bit of things. All I'm going to say is, listen, the older I get, the more grateful I am to live in the greatest country in the world. And we can sit there and talk about the government shutdown, and we can lean into our rights or our lefts or all this other bullshit. But the truth is, go to South Africa. Go to some places where life sucks. We get to do what we want to do, eat what we want to eat, vote, whether it counts or not. You still get to vote. You get to put it in the box or mail it in or jump on the bus when they haul you up there or whatever. And the reason for this is and I have to say, I can't tell you how indebted I am to the service members, the administrations, frankly, the people that have to decide whether to put our service members in harm's way, and all of the people that have given us the most wonderful country in the world to live in. You know, it started on November 11th, and it was the anniversary of World War I in 1918. It was originally called Armistice Day. I don't even know what armistice means, but it sounds pretty cool. And then I think Woodrow Wilson or one of those old presidents changed it. But I have got to say, and I had to take a little time, if you serve or have served or in a family of someone that served, both running our country or in the military, I can't thank you enough for giving me an opportunity to raise my family, have grandbabies, and live in the best freaking country in the world. Done. Off my back.
Amen.
It's true. And I was just going to mention before we get rolling talking about judging things, all things judging, which I can hardly wait. We just celebrated the class of 2025 at the National Rodeo Hall of Fame in Oklahoma City over the weekend. And it was an outstanding event. The attendance more than doubled, which is heartening since last year. And with today being Veterans Day, I, besides saying congratulations to every member of this year's class, two of them, rodeo clowns, John Taylor, these people will go back to Allan's childhood because they do mine too. John Taylor is a Vietnam veteran who served in the U.S. Army, and Larry Klayman in the U.S. Marine Corps. And those guys were funny. And I don't know how many people, John Taylor and Snort, and then Larry Klayman and his chimp Toto. John Taylor and Snort.
Toto was liable to bite someone's ear off. So when Klayman was out there with Toto, you didn't know what was going to happen. I mean, the funny thing was all of us behind the chutes wondering how bad Toto was going to whip Klayman's ass before they got out of the arena.
Hey, Hey, I seen Toto climb a tree at San Bernardino with a piece of baling wire. He's trying to whack everybody's head off with it. And Trav Cadwell Sr. had to climb up there and get him out.
Well, the other day, Oat and I were in Missouri, and we went to the claimant's place, and they're like, "Yeah, that's Larry's house, and that's Toto's tree right out front," you know. And so, but Snort, Alan, do you remember? Like, okay, here would
Yeah,
come John, who's like 4'10" maybe, and
yeah.
old Snort, and
Well, 410
John,
both directions, vertical and horizontal.
Yes.
fair, and then he would come on
Fair.
Snort, and the horses jumping and
Oh, they were
snorting.
gone.
I mean,
They went every direction.
hilarious.
Every
So
direction. Yeah, they hated him.
it was wild. Good. Okay.
And
I'm
he
just
had
gonna,
an illustrious career with saddle horses at the NFR too, right?
Well,
oh, 33
he
years.
hired me when I was 15 at Oklahoma City to help him with the saddle horses.
Really.
Really. Yep.
Yep.
I for decades was in those production meetings in Sean Davis's office at the Thomas and Mack for sure. He's just a nice man. And his
Very
voice
nice
is
man.
funny. He's hilarious. But anyway, it's fun to see these guys get their due. And big
Yeah.
congrats also to Chad Berger, Joel Edmondson, HP Evitts, the original King of Cool Reachers, right? Alan, Bobby Goodspeed, Wiley McRae, the late Wiley McRae, and the late Neil Gay, Charlie Throckmorton. This year's Todd Lucas Award winner was Larry D. Guy, and this year's Ben Johnson Award winner was Hud Hudson. And apparently they reenacted the old hotel room parties, all-nighters, and those guys, they've got to be in their 70s, right? The Trace Moores and the Jim Pratts and all these guys, and I guess they just hung it on. T-Bone Clark, all these kind
Oh
of
my
guys,
God.
they were all there, and
Oh my God.
with guitars, and anyway, so good for everybody. Anyway, let's go because I am so looking forward to this. So for those who don't know Alan forever, like we have, bulldogger, bull rider, very long time judge, trophy husband to Jolie Lauderette Jordan,
Thank you for seeing that.
who just won Brawley barrel race 30 years after winning it the first time in 1995 of the weekend.
And
That's
she's just as credible, and her crap is on target, everything she does.
yes. And she, in the last 2 years, it's been fun because she'll be somewhere, she'll be being a timer, and then she'll be doing, she'll be doing reporting and whatever. Anyway, she wears a lot of hats just like her husband, but cool. So, the elite level judge in the PRC and the PBR, and I don't know a more respected judge in our industry over
Thank you.
a very long time than Allan Jordan. And like us, he is a straight shooting truth teller. So, yeah.
Well, I want to ask some questions real quick about it. So is it true, was it your family, or did you started out with a stock contracting company? Was that your
Yes,
family, or did you work for them?
Yes, I
RSC.
was a little kid, and I started out with RSC with Bob Cook and Nancy Cook.
Bob Cook.
And then,
Okay.
yep, and then he, when I got to about, I think it was my 7th grade, I just moved up there and lived with him. And I'd see my mom and dad at the rodeos.
And RSC, as this dates back to my childhood too, RSC stands for Jack Roddy, Jack Sparrick, and Bob Cook.
And Bob Cook, yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing that's cool is I'm pretty sure, now correct me if I'm wrong, Alan, because I heard this and I think I read it. I'm pretty sure Alan flanked at the
I
NFR
did.
3 or 4 or maybe 5 times before he was 18. Is that right?
Yes,
That's
yes,
badass. That's badass.
yes. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was good.
And that's Oklahoma City days. And then you went into bull riding, which Kendra talked about.
Yeah.
And here's what's funny. I was with, well, you know how Cody Lambert and I tie up
Yep.
a lot. And we got into a passionate discussion about your bull riding somewhere. And and Cody was telling someone about how good a bull bull rider he was. And I couldn't help myself, but I pointed to you. You were over there by the buck and shoots. I don't know where we're at. And I said, no, Cody, that guy was a good bull rider. You were just okay.
You're such an ass.
No, but
Oh
this guy rode Oscar multiple times. He rode, what was the bull of Rosser's? Wasn't it Rosser's that you rode, the bull in California? I saw something about that was unbelievable.
Yeah, that was the Brennel bull he had. They hadn't been ridden for a while, and then I rode him like twice, and then I did a movie deal with him. They brought him down there on Hunter. It was Renegade, and then I had to get on him and hang up to him, and then get thrown in the pen with him. It was all stunts. You know, he wiped me out. He was the winner.
But I mean, you're talking about a guy, just so you know, that did it first and now judges. And, you know, this guy's got a 96 in his ledger off of Oscar. Like, you don't get marked 96. Now, there's some guys that got marked hundreds and shit like that didn't belong. But
yeah, we're not going to go there.
As a whole, well, we probably will before it's over.
Oh, I got that. Absolutely. Yes. But also, interesting combination, bull rider and bulldogger, and pretty large bull rider, but a handy bulldogger. How in the world? That combination is very unusual, unless you're a Linderman candidate.
Well, speaking of the Linderman deal, when I had my card and I was riding bulls, you could never get traded, be up the same time in the bulldogger. I mean, you could never be up at the same time if you're riding bulls. So I had to lay off the bulldogging for a while. And then if I knew I was going to just go to one rodeo or something, I could enter 2 events, you know. But I had to take the heat from my father all the time, too, because he's always wanting me, why don't you enter the bulldogging? So I'm entering the bull riding, you know, that kind of story back and forth.
You couldn't cross event buddy or whatever.
No. I guarantee you I could enter Denver or one of them. There's just not a chance in hell you could be up anywhere close together.
But you're pretty big in stature for a bull rider, right? I mean,
I'm
size perspective.
Size-wise and tall, and you know, and what the guys are kind of getting bigger nowadays too. You know,
they're getting a little longer, a little more. That Brady Fielder and these guys, they're getting a little more Jerome Davis-like. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. You know, they're Owen Washburns and guys like that they had some good size and could really, really, really ride.
Well, Owen could really, really, really ride and really, 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 really get thrown off. Like,
oh yeah,
he either made an unbelievable ride or I was trying to figure out what is wrong with you. Anyway.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ken.
Yeah. No,
anyway, this guy's accomplished. I didn't know. I thought I heard that he bulldog, but I didn't know that. I knew he rode bulls. And then another one of my faves is Growney. Didn't you work for Growney?
No, I actually just ordered him around because when they bought their company, they bought our company, and so I was kind of in the transition of him getting used to the stock and stuff, and I'd flank at all the good rodeos. I could be entered, and I'd flank the bucking horses, you know, especially when it's time to pick for the NFR. He'd have me flank like Salinas and San Jose and them rodeos back then, and yeah, we were mean to John. He had it coming.
To preface our shoot around here, are you a free agent these days, or do you have an actual title?
I am head of officiating for the PBR.
Oh, corporate big boy. Salary,
whatever.
All that great stuff. Congratulations.
Yes, sir.
And you also on your resume ran the PRCA's judging program.
No, never.
You
if
did?
it was, it'd have been a lot better than it is now.
But wait.
Or there'd have been a lot of
contractors.
Okay, wait. You moved to Colorado Springs at one time. In which job were you doing?
I was the head of the stock contractors. That title. You know, I represented them and by the rules and all that. So that was that was my title.
Does that job no longer exist?
I don't, Kendra, as you know, I don't have much interaction with them, so I don't know if it does or not.
Good.
Well, I think they've changed the.
But But you were a forever PRC judge for how long?
Oh, well, oh God, I'm going to date myself. I was entering the bull riding. It was my very first year, 1977, my rookie year. I go to Livermore when Livermore was good, and they needed a judge, so they drew me out. I didn't want to draw out. They drew me out. Hugh Chambliss made me judge. And here, first year guys were not allowed to judge. And all I did was cuss him for that because I had a good bull in the bull riding, he never lived that down. And that's how it all started there is then Jack Hannum, every time he needed a judge, he'd call and say, hey, you got to go to here and that. I'll leave you in the bulldogging, but you got to get out of the bull riding. So basically, they kind of forced me out of the
But
bull
you
riding.
were,
The way I'm looking at it now.
so, but you were an actual full-time PRCA judge for.
Yes, 20-something years. I was hired as one of the full-time guys. Yeah.
Okay. Just to kick this party off, I saw our Sean Davis, Hall of Fame saddlebark rider and forever NFR general manager of the weekend in Oklahoma City. And I asked him what he thinks of using quarter points at the NFR this year for the first time. And his take was, we have plenty of points to work with already. We just need to use the spread more. What do you think about that?
Well, I think, and I've been there when they rounded up or whatever they did. They didn't use them. And if you use your spread, just like he said, and get your placings correct, it's good. But anymore with our athletes and our livestock getting so consistent, it really helps because I do these evaluations every week after these bull ridings, and we have films to look at and all that. And the ABBI started using the tenths. We've been doing the halves and all that already in PBR, but we're going to start using tenths in all our events now. And the ABBI's been using them forever, and it's been good. You can really hash it out, and it breaks up all them splits and stuff.
Okay, but are you saying in 2026 the PBR is going to go to judging in tenths?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's in rider and bull.
If 100 points is already a big enough spread, then why are you in favor of using tenths?
Go ahead. I like that is, and I go because you'll see, like Fort Worth, Texas, 32 performances, and it runs so long that as a judge you can get lost. You look back and you have 589s winning the tournament, and and if you go back and look at them, so if you can split them up from 89 and 2/10, you know what I'm saying? It just gives you more room. That's what I like about it, because it's pretty.
This will be interesting because I'm going to try to get Kinder to participate in this. But I'll tell you this: at the Utah Days of 47 rodeo this year, I felt sorry for those guys.
I got it right here.
In the bronc riding.
I got it right here.
Yeah, because now, and I've never said I'm the judge. I've produced a million events, and I can usually look from just being around this my entire life and say the score, right? Now, but in the bronc riding, Kendra, my point is you might have a big spread of points, but in order to do that, correct me if I'm wrong, Allan, in order to do that, you've got to start out marking the high guy too high and the low guy too low to give yourself that spread when the horses and the talent are so concentrated, especially in the PBR, where there's 6 or 8 for sure bulls that if you've only given 1 point, they belong in that 1 point. So how do you reward a guy, right, Kendra? So I agree, but I think you'd really have to skew the thing. And I see these judges the first performance, I always yell out to them, do you have any balls? And they get mad at me because they're always that first ride or the first perf. And Allan can tell me if I'm
You're always too tight.
They're kind of setting their boundaries and they're scared because they got to live in that the rest of the game, especially when you do 32 performances at Fort Worth.
Yeah.
Am I wrong on that, Allan?
No, I mean it was tough, but if you get and a lot of these guys don't have the the opportunity to be in them long perfs like that to recognize it. Does that make sense there?
Well, what does make sense to me about it is ultimately all that really matters is that you place guys in the right order and decide who gets
yes,
the money.
yes,
So
yep.
what does say if you have a 32 perf rodeo or whatever, the cool part is about it, I suppose, that makes sense to me is, well, if you really can go back in your mind 30 perfs and say, well, this one tonight was just that smidge better than that one 30 perfs ago or whatever, it gives you a chance to go back and place them in
Yeah.
right? Or,
Yes. Yeah, and you learn by it. I mean, you get to learn by it because just like El Paso, Harry Rose and I went to El Paso one year, and it was a long rodeo back then. And same thing after rodeo, you go and look at them sheets. Okay, what was that guy in the first performance? Oh yeah, he was supposed to be beating this guy that we have hired tonight. So it's all mindset. Is what it really is. And this opportunity. Go ahead.
well, for people who don't know, you guys have a chance to go back later and adjust the scores. 30 perfs
Oh,
later, no?
no. In the old days, they used to try that every now and then, but no. Once you turn them books in, you're done.
For the day.
Yeah, for the
You
day.
can't.
Yeah,
But
At the end
every
of
once
that-
in a while, then why?
At the end of that discipline, except they were able to do it at Salt Lake this year for some reason, I don't know why. But the end of that discipline, that's supposed to be it.
Okay, here's the here's what just, I didn't say it right. Sometimes a score will change after a perf. It's only because the math was wrong, right?
exactly.
Okay,
Yeah, the
because the math
secretary,
between the horse
the
and the
math was
bull
wrong.
and the guy was added incorrectly. That's why it changes. Okay.
Or they say they
Yeah.
meant to put
Yeah.
a half point on there and that period is actually a half point because they realized that they screwed up. Because that's the one thing I was going to bring up. I'm flipping my argument around, Kendra. I completely like quarter points and tenth of points in the PBR, and I'll tell you why. The flip side of in a minute, but the flip side of that is there's too many judges that don't know what they're doing, so giving them more places isn't necessarily going to mean we have the right winner. You got to know what the flip you're doing to divide 1 point into quarters or tenth. Like you've got to be good. You've got to notice that you're going to give that bull 2/10 of a point because he was smart enough to turn back as soon as he saw that guy loose. And most of these guys don't even see that. Honestly, right, Alan? They don't even recognize the
they're
fact
not
that the
recognizing
bull.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I'll just give you an example. I watched a film from the circuit finals from over there the other day, and I'm looking at the sheets, and one guy's got the rider 2 points over, and the other guy's got him a half over. And the guys that has him a half over is right because it's flopping and popping and making him look hard. That's no control, and it's just wild bad moves, And then they get falling into it. Pretty soon that bull comes up too. They'll pick the bull up saying, boy, that bull's really bucking,
Well,
It's
those
kind of a
guys like
masquerade.
Shirley Sampson, there's a lot of guys out there that won a lot of money because they rode like that. And
Yes,
I'm not knocking
yes.
Shirley, but
No.
they gave the bull 2 points that if you put Razor on him, it was a totally different score.
You hit two perfect points right there because Jim Sharp, I remember when I was judging and he was riding, you didn't want to watch Jim Sharp. You better watch the bull because he's gonna make the bull look easy. If you're just watching him, you're gonna go, oh, that's 84 points. When not really. If you watch what that bull did.
And there was always so much talk about like Chris Shivers, how he could get some extras out of his free hand, right?
Yep.
Free arm
But
and different things like that.
But you can enhance the ride by beating them to the punch and stuff like that. But this out of control, swinging and moving and getting draped over their head and stuff doesn't work for me.
What about the feet in the bareback riding on both sides of the neck?
I hate it.
Both feet on one side of the neck, I should say.
Yeah, it doesn't work. I seen him win a lot of money with a guy gets a spurt over his neck. That's a lack of control. And then I do believe that I can be talking on my ass on this, but I think these riggings are set nowadays where it happens more often because they've got a good seat and their feet are up higher. So if that horse does anything like that, they'll come over, when they don't really dock that much for it, where I did, I took a lot of heat for them. And no, man, you had your foot on the other side. At least the other guy had a nice controlled ride.
Right. This is completely out of order, but I feel like it happens every year at the NFR where you have a pretty savvy crowd of hardcore rodeo people. And man, night after night,
Educated.
there might be one judge who's like 3, 4, 5 points different from everybody. And everybody's scratching their head. How does that happen?
Well, I'll
I
just
guess
tell
it
you.
doesn't matter for one. If that person's consistent, it doesn't matter. Is that right?
Well, no, I'll tell you. I'll just give you an example. I was judging the bareback riding one year there. I'm trying to think who I was with, and the horse comes out, and the only person that could see the right foot's me because he circles right over here, and all them other guys are on their side. He makes a splendid ride over here. It was Russ Bigelow, and on my side there, he's getting jerked down. He had hell getting around there, and I'm 6 or 8 points below all through the rest of them. So it's a lot of camera angles. Yeah,
Clayton?
yeah,
Okay.
Clayton.
Clayton. Okay.
But it's a lot of times it's views in that.
So that
I
could
like-
legitimately happen and not be a problem. I mean,
Yeah. Like I'll tell you, there's a lot of guys like, especially we're judging off the back of the chutes now and stuff like that. And I remember when we first started that back when PBR, it was tough because you didn't know, you had to kind of look down and see if they're bucking because you're getting it right there and you're feeling it all. And then suddenly you look up the video, and you go, oh my God, he kicked about that high. So it's views, you get better at it, but views make a lot of difference.
Well, I have a question. How many,
Yes, sir.
and Kendra may know this, but when you were judging at the NFR, how many judges? I heard they've got 12 or 14. Is that because they rotate them or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They try to use them like they'll use the guys in the strong events, and they'll try to move them around and stuff like that. And that's the reason why there. And then, when Clint was the boss, I think we added 2 more judges, I think for a year or so there, that was off the back, instead of the guys out in the arena. We were also in the mix.
Do the contestants have any input on who judges the NFR?
No.
There
That's,
was a
thank God.
time,
Yeah,
way back,
it was bad. It
there
was
was a
bad.
time.
Yeah, they I guess they let them pull their like the bareback riders, and they give them a list, but it doesn't. When it's all said and done, it's still the judge's boss, the boss of the judges that picks them.
Okay.
Because we give you this example all the time. If the football players and coaches want Tommy Joe because he don't call holding, they're going to have him there. So it doesn't work.
I gotcha. Okay.
Well, yeah, we'll get into the judging a little more, but I want to highlight. So Kendra and I have had this conversation about professional rodeo keeping up with technology. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't know if this is true or not. I went to the team's finals and was there the whole time. Are they starting the clock with AI?
Yes.
See, Kendra, they're starting the clock with AI. Because Kendra and I have this
It's
conversation
above.
all the time. Yeah, all this conversation all the time about the timed events about, and I'm always saying, look, the technology's there to not miss the barrier, right? The technology's there to not have to look at an orange flag 65 feet down the arena with a drunk with a beer in front of the timer. But we just refuse in rodeo to go there. So I'm just saying, share with us some of the progress, because you got to
I
give
will.
it PBR. They are ahead of the game.
They are very much so. So it goes. We are the deal on the buck and shoots. On camera, we'll start our clocks. In human reaction, that bull's always that far out. So they put up the AI deal at the top, and I said, "There's no way in hell it'll work. No way." I mean, I said, "No way." I'll be damned, it worked, and it works good. It's more consistent than human. And then if it does have a foul, like if the bull jumps up in the corner every now and then, it'll start it. It'll break the plane, and then we can go back with our replay and say, "Hey, we're going to check the time."
Yeah.
And what was ammo?
Yeah.
So it's right. It's Nat's ass. It's a lot better. And you're right. The PBR is so ahead of it. Just like we got 14 cameras in the replay, and we're moving that again. We're doing some different things there, but I mean, it's a hell of a machine that's working.
Well, even with 14 cameras, I noticed this at the team finals, even with 14 cameras, there's a few of these calls that are hell for the replay judge. I'm talking about with
Yes.
14 cameras because,
Yeah.
you know, and, but so take us through. So I think that they can do tenths of points because they've got a better judging system. I'm just being frank. I think
It's good. And here's the deal on the judging system. For years, Kendra, you remember this too, and Tommy, you will too. For years, it was 6, 7 of us had them all, and you didn't have hardly anybody ever get a chance to come up and do them. You know, there was not very many rollovers. You know, where our system now is we got. Well, I think we have 27 that can do the big events, and they're doing excellent. And after every bull riding, we have film, and I mean, it's called Greenfly, and I'll go down through them numbers, and I'll say, okay, you're an outlier. Tommy, you have him 90, everybody else has him 87. Okay, and then I say, compare that ride to your other 90 the day before. Yeah, I mean, it works so good, and you can just hit just them 2 rides and compare them for your brain. And then in every ride we go through, and then if, just like our 88s, you know, if you got a ton of 88s, I'll hand pick them out of there and say, okay, pick them, it don't matter what day it is, and say, look at them 4 88s and tell me how you got them. And undoubtedly they'll come back, oh, hell yeah, I can see why I could have broke that up. And that's progress.
Which
And
I think
they're all really
nobody's-
good about it too.
nobody's against progress. I think that's great. And I just think I will say, to be fair for rodeo, you know, making that much progress in one event is a different beast than trying to get somebody to be great at judging as many events as are at rodeo, right?
Yeah, right.
Fair or whatever.
It's
Yeah, but we don't change.
I
We don't
think
change much. I mean, I'm really glad. I'm interested with Allan. I'm glad they're going to quarter points at the NFR. I mean, I
Me
understand
too.
what Mr. Davis says, but Mr. Davis remembers it the way he wrote it. He wrote the scripts. Everything's exactly
Yeah.
how he did it forever. But again, you better get good enough to get better, because people start to see when they watch the Olympics and it's in 0.9s, 0.7s, and we're going to compare ourselves to other pro sports. We got to get there,
Yeah.
don't we?
Okay.
Yeah,
So here's another thing that came up or yesterday. So last night I talked to longtime NFR Secretary Sonny Deb Backstrom to confirm that at the NFR, the top 5 guys in the world standings are the last 5 guys that ride in the rough stock events. And so I, by the way, over the weekend asked Sean Davis about that. And he said, yeah, the reason that we went to doing that is because to keep the crowd engaged.
so
Now, it sure seems to me like a huge advantage. If you're the world leader and you get to go last every night, is that not just an absolute huge advantage? I can't believe that the 6th through 15th guys
Here's-
would think this was cool.
Okay, Kendra, let me address it. And that's a timed event attitude right that you have, because you know you got a lot of play in that. But them rough stock guys, they're competing against the animal. It doesn't matter if they go first or last.
You don't think that it's a big advantage?
No, I tell you what, for years we used to start with a buck off.
It shouldn't
And
be.
then
It shouldn't
It
be.
should not be.
It shouldn't be, but the truth is, they don't have enough good judges. So Kendra, you're right that it is.
You're
an
right,
advantage.
but I mean,
The first guy's screwed, and it's an advantage to go to the end. But the problem, Kendra, in my opinion, and we'll ask Allan, is that if these guys were judging at the level that the PBR guys are judging at, no offense to anybody, right? But if they were doing this, then it wouldn't matter, because what they earned is what
Doesn't
they
matter,
earned,
yeah.
regardless of when
I
they play.
understand that. It's just, there's also part of an announcer's job, correct me if I'm wrong, is to sell it at the end. You build this hype to the end. Can he hold on to first in the average? Can he keep his lead in the world? Every night, the number 1 guy in the world goes last, and there's a huge hype. Now, that should not impact what a judge says, right? But
should not.
judges are human.
Yeah, true.
I don't know.
And it's also
It's
interesting.
a great conversation, guys, because it's all true.
It's
It really
insider
is. I mean,
knowledge here, but
you got to bow up, and you got to pay attention to not that shit. You know what I'm saying? You got to pay attention to what you're doing.
rough
It don't
stock
matter.
guys, the good rough stock guys now, they know to become the announcer's friends. I see this happening all the time because they want the announcer telling everybody, including the judges, how good they
Yeah.
are before they nod.
Yeah.
And then they want them telling them how good that ride was when they nod.
Oh
Right?
my God! Don't get me started there.
But that's the
When you
announcer's
got a
job.
couple of them doing the judging for you and announcing, there's nothing more worse.
I agree with that, but that's the announcer's job, as Kendra said.
Yeah.
However, and these really good roughies, I watched them in my entire career. The guys that are standing there talking to the announcers, I just chuckle, right? Because they got zero in common with most of those
Yeah.
announcers.
Right.
Like that's very strategic and smart to play that card if you're going to play it. But the truth is, there's not very many judges in pro rodeo. There's a handful. There's some that are so qualified, Kendra, that this
They got
does-
fired.
when you speak
I
when you
can name
speak
you
your
5 or
mind
6.
and, when you speak your mind and want stuff straight, sometimes you get the walking ticket.
True.
So I think it's a problem. And the only other thing I'll say, Kendra, because I'm talking a lot here because I'm passionate about this, maybe if they paid judges what they were worth to do their jobs correctly, we would get good judges.
That was a question on my list. Is there enough money in it to be able to recruit, legit high-end judges?
I don't think there's enough money in it for the PRCA guys. When you get paid more to high school rodeo than they do, that's bad. That's bad.
Okay, Ellen, can a great judge be trained, or does he have to have lived it to see it in slow motion?
I think that's a great question. We take advantage of our upbringing, but you got some guys that can be trained. I do if they're open, they got the right attitude, and they recognize the criterias and everything. I see it. I see that. That's good. They're clean. And if they got the right personality and integrity to follow the rules. Doesn't matter if it's who it is. I'm sorry, love you to death, but no, not today. I think they've got that. If they got that down, I think you can succeed at anything you want to do in rodeo.
Well, I would say, Kendra, if you look at the most successful football coaches ever, they weren't that good of players, but they were really good at noticing all the details. It was
All
the
the
bigger
detail, yeah.
picture that they see. And sometimes these judges, it sounds like I'm bashing judges. So if you're listening to No Spin and you're a judge and you want to throw a dartboard, I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying, if you have, sometimes that can impact you. And my point is, and I've said this to other people that have asked me the same question. I said, well, then how do you explain these coaches that were really terrible football players? Like on the field, they were not very good, but they know the game inside and out and how to win. And I think, Alan, couldn't that apply to a judge?
Yes. Yes.
There's the old saying, there are those who can do and those who can't teach, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like the bulldogging. If when you're flagging, you're judging, you're making that run yourself. Every run. So you're in it. You're in the game. I don't care that bombs can go off, but when he's catching his steer and throwing them, and you're waiting for the legs to clear and stuff, it's all going through your body to win. To when you flag him.
I have a question from each end of the arena. For your opinion, do you think we should continue to have a mark out rule? There's starting to be people talking, yes, we should, no, we shouldn't. What do you think?
Well, I've got to do both. I'll just give you an example. They didn't have it at the Hondo, but your judge who doesn't mark them out, he's going to dock you. Right? So, I mean, it's either way. And then forever, when I was flanking and stuff, were so hard on the mark out that they rough locked them horses and they'd get the stalling and everything. So they got that point. So to free, but I think the way I'm going to go back some generations here, the Joe Alexanders and them that have it down, that helps them in their ride to make that 23, 24 points per ride. I don't think your timing, a lot of times it takes you a jump and a half, 2 jumps to catch up, So I really think it enhances the judges out there. It helps you,
Okay. At the other end of the arena, what do you think? I feel like I keep hearing that I was going to ask about the crossfire rule and what you think about it. One thing I have been told a lot in recent times is that they're letting it slide more. I don't know if you have any inside intel on that, but I don't know if they got tired of fighting it, but what can you say about the crossfire?
They taught me the crossfire. And I don't know, it was the top 15 or 20 that came to Phoenix that year. They put a video together and it was black and white. It was just black and white. And it was easy to call.
You're telling me that that's black and white? Because I was going to say the 2 things if they hired me to be a judge that I would be scared of, and that's flagging the bulldogging on someone's horse that I don't know gets there. I can't pretend like I missed it, right? I mean, you drop that flag, you own it.
You can't fix the bulldogging.
No. And crossfire.
You screw up in the bulldogging, yeah. But back to your crossfire deal. But now the cattle are smaller, not as big. And there's no consistency in it. That's the problem. That's the problem we keep having. You're from one judge to the other, what his call is. And it's nothing wrong.
Make a consistent crossfire call currently, without video, with guys' position. You think that it's black and white enough from where these guys are to make that consistent currently? Do you think that's a possibility?
You see, I haven't got to judge or flag any team roping since I've been gone, and that all come in after. I'm being honest there, because if I go back and if I do a rodeo or something, it's going to be the same call, because you got to be consistent from who you are. You draw your judges just like you draw your animals when you're riding. You look right out there and say, oh yeah, he likes this type of bull or this type of horse. They know what you got. They know what you like. And a flagger's the same way. I mean, I went to Montgomery one year and we were going down the circuit finals there. And so I'm flagging the team roping, and half of our guys are coming from California. We're in the slack, and about 4 or 5 of them guys from the East, they're not getting around. And finally, I don't know, somebody says, I guarantee you got to get around on this guy. And they go, well, thanks for telling us now. I mean, because about 3 of them didn't get flagged. The old look at me and wave. Yeah, you're still not around. And then the California guys, the West Coast guys that knew me, bam, they were getting a good flag because they knew.
Gotcha. Have you ever cussed an announcer for encouraging the crowd to boo the judges?
I wrote one up. Find him.
You wiener!
I've got it right here on the computer.
Did he hurt your feelings by the crowd booing you?
No, but when he sit there and misleading the crowd, it didn't work.
Yeah.
What is the it's a fine, I'm assuming, but what's the infraction? Impacting the competition?
It's what's the word? What's the manipulating the contest? Also, our integrity to the sport.
Is it conduct detrimental?
Detrimental. Yep. Because if you're an announcer, you know better. To say he's supposed to be 90, he ain't supposed to be 90. He's supposed to be 84. That's what the judges said.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay. Do judges, if a guy dirty cusses you, because judges are human.
This is good.
Well, I'm saying, if a guy dirty cusses you, are you gonna take possibly the opportunity to let him know without speaking the words next time you face off? Or I know this is a silly question because it's person to person, but don't tell me you've never seen it, right?
Yeah, I've seen it. I've been in it.
He's done
It's
it.
all timing. It's all timing, Kendra. And it's a time and a place. Now listen, if he's mad at you and he's holding his breath until it approaches you at the right time, it's one-on-one. Nobody's around, you get it out. But if you're going to do that in public and show disrespect to the business and to the judge and the whole business like that, unacceptable. You know, like we have it in the PBR. If you do it in the PBR, you're gone. You're gone. You're out of the building. There's none of this sitting it in and not getting fined or whatever. You're gone. That event, you're good. You're done.
So there's no gray area. There's a line, and you cannot cross it. Because the thing about it is, I can see it on the one hand. It's like a judge isn't going to take an ass chewing out in the middle of the arena. That's just embarrassing to everybody. But on the other hand, ultimately the judges basically work for the contestants in a way, right? So I do feel like it's silly when some judges are so hard ass that a guy can't ask an honest, polite, respectful question.
They can.
They should be able to, right?
They can. Yep, they can. You can walk right up there, and stand on the line with you, and you can discuss it. Everything's good. Yeah, that's good.
That's cool.
You know, and they can give you, hey, you cool kid, or something like that. You're still good. That's just idle conversation to get through it. But when you come in an aggressive, throwing a fit attitude, does not work.
Yeah, but the flip side of that, I've seen judges do, in fairness to the contestant. I've seen a contestant walk up in a polite manner to ask a question, usually on the timed event end, and the judge won't look him in the eye, acts like he doesn't have time to discuss it, and I think that you have to reciprocate that willingness to hear his side. Most of them just want to be heard, right?
Yes. And this is a great conversation because you got to have interaction, and you're right. They're paying for the judges as well. And the only problem I see in our whole conversation here is accountability to the judge that consistently messes up. That's if the contestants knew, hey, that guy's going to get in trouble, or hey, that guy's going to get reprimanded, or whatever. It's easier to go with. You know what I mean? It's like I tell them, hey, we have to make. I'm just going to guess 1,000 decisions at a rodeo. You get to make 5. Back in the box, turn your horse around, get your horse right, nod your head. You see? So, I mean, you got to, it's lopsided a bit, but you got to respect the contestants. I do. And if you're always in that bind, you lose a little respect from me. But you're trying your butt off and there's a mistake, the judge needs to raise his hand and the contestant will take it a lot better. They'll say, hey, I screwed you on that one. I'm so sorry. They'll go, hey, well, thanks. At least How many times have you walked out there and the judge won't admit it? That's almost gone in our system nowadays. In the old days, they were like, I didn't make no mistake. I'm the judge,
Well, and judges earn respect. And I've even seen some PBR judges, frankly, I'm not going to bring them up, that I thought haven't earned the amount of events that they've got, in my personal opinion. In historically, but I think a judge earns a respect, right? I mean, when you were in the arena, those guys probably jacked with you less because you proved you were fair somewhere along.
Yeah, you have to be fair. You have to be fair.
Yeah. But Allan, to me, where I watched him for so many years have that respect is because he knew what he was doing. If he made a mistake, he would own it or whatever. But if a guy had a question, he would answer the question. And part of that, I think, is confidence. That's just like in any
good point
job. If you have the confidence in what you're doing, if you made a mistake, you made a mistake. You didn't do it on purpose. You didn't do it to screw somebody. You want
to hear a greatest story ever? Yeah. Greatest story ever. We're at San Antonio. It's a short go. Jason Miller's up. I'm flagging the bulldog, and he throws his steer, and when he goes by me, I swear he's down. I say, get him up, right? and he gets him up, throws him down. And then I back over in the corner and I watch it, and they play it like 5 times for like 6 minutes, and they boo me because this steer is that high in the air, right? And he goes all the way to Tucson for the slack the next day, cost him winning the whole deal, And I'm saying, God, Jason, I'm sorry, that was stupid. I don't know what happened there. So he runs his steer down to Tucson, long score. He goes to get down, and all them assholes say, "Get him up!" They were just teasing him, because he just lost San Antonio because of stupid ass flagger, But you got to ante up and say that. I learned a lot from that right there. Learn how to sit there and say, "Hey, I'm telling you, I messed that one up."
Yeah.
For
And
years you'd never get that. You would never get that.
Yeah.
That is
So I
a point
got
of
the bigger
respect.
questions, a couple of questions for you. Put aside acronyms and associations. What can our sport do better, particularly in rodeo, but maybe even in the PBR, to continue to improve, right, on all of this? Like if you had to pick a couple things that you notice all the time now that you're out of rodeo, let's pick on rodeo just because you're looking at it from outside now, right?
Yeah.
What's a couple things that could be done, in your opinion, that would have some instrumental impact on, the right scores and the right times?
I think if Kinder touched on it a little earlier, confidence. And you had to build confidence as experience. And so it's like our new guys that are coming up in the PBR, it's not classroom. Part of it is, but it's not classroom. It's come there and shadow. Come there and shadow the event, write your scores down and send them into us. And we go for the throw and say, all it is confidence in your in experience. I think, and that's what the rodeo business needs, is somebody not telling them, showing them. Because half the time you're telling them, they get out, you're kind of attacking them. You're not attacking them. You're just trying to give them the experience to go and get comfortable. And the more you do, the better you should get. You know what I'm saying? And that's how we've been doing it. Jack and Paul and I, we let them come shadow, and don't think he's right over there once your numbers, because then you know where you're at, and then they all know where they're at, but it's checks and balances for them, and they're not getting yelled at or being stupid or any of that stuff.
Well, what's the one thing?
I don't know what
What's the
they
one?
need to have some kind of backing for them judges coming up. They need to give them experience.
So what's the thing that drives you batty now? One thing when you're watching rodeos or whatever that you're like, over and over again, this drives me batty.
It's probably the scoring, because I'm looking at the criteria of the animal, which dictate most everything. You can be Casey Fields on a 10-point horse. He makes a great ride, but he's not supposed to be 80. And I'm not picking on Case,
Happens all the time.
But you see that on there, and then you look at, like I looked at one performance of your rodeo last year. In one performance, you had 388s in the bronc riding. I went, okay, are you judging? Are you judging, or you know what I'm saying? I mean, you should be good enough to split them. If they're supposed to be 288s, I get it. You know what I mean? But when I get done, you look at it, and we preach that all the time. Is Roy Doyle, excellent judge, creepy little guy, but good. But we had our first team.
He's kind of like John Taylor as a judge. Yeah.
Oh, I call him the troll. He's a good boy, he really is. But we were at our first team. He had like 13 87s. So I get them all together, and I go, okay, Roy, we're at a 13-man jackpot. It sees 13 guys. Place them. And he had them perfect. He was looking at it. The game was done. Get rid of it. You know what I mean? And it can't, because all them numbers go out through the year. They go out to your total riding scores and all that, because PBR is up on all that crap. It's they're way techie on that. But and we know, like John's got it where how many times he's on the clock in a year. All that stuff. They keep all them stats. How many times he's been disqualified for the shoot process.
Do you ever think that sometimes in judging, last question and then I'll shut up, but it's fun to me. Do you ever think in judging that sometimes judges are looking for what's wrong in everything instead of what's right?
Yes, I think if you go in with a positive attitude, look for the positives. The negatives are going to jump in you anyway. They really are. But if you can look at that, and I'm going to go with you guys because I go backward for most people. I look at that ride and I go, that's a 90. I got half of it. I'm going to get my 45 down. And that's how we were raised back then. That's how you did it. And then you go here and you look at your rule books, and then you have 13 criterias in the bull riding that you're supposed to be looking for. There's no way you're going to catch all of them unless you have the experience and the confidence. You say, I've been on that type of bull, and he's moving forward, and I know how hard that is for difficulty. I'm going to give him points for difficulty. We had a perfect little deal at the Hondo this last week. What was his name? Caleb? Which one was it, Joey? The boy that come up, and he asked me, he goes, was that a re-ride? And I go, no, I have him at 20 and a half. Okay. And you know what I'm saying? But he felt like, and he was just a good, nice bull, made a couple rounds, just kind of in one spot. Is that a re-ride? I go, no, I have him at 20 and a half. Because if he was a 19, it's a re-ride option. That's what we have. And then I'm looking, I look down through there and I'll see how many times Tommy Joe trying to keep from giving him a re-ride. Oh, you had 14, 19 and a halfers, huh? Everybody else has them 16, 17s, 15s, So then you're protecting that line, which is not good either. But that's all brought up so they know.
Yeah, but you're analyzing scores. Does anybody they may do it, but does the PRCA and does Pro Rodeo, do they have the staff and the infrastructure to be able, what I'll give, hats off to the PBR for spending the money to hire a guy you that can look at all of this, right? But I don't think they have the infrastructure to pull that off, do they?
Well, here I'm going to stick up for the PRCA. Believe it or not, they're trying. They got the Ron, but they don't have the assets. You're right. They don't have the assets, and they're not going to look at Thousand Oaks, California. You might be on the Cowboy Channel at Redding. You might be able to overlook that, but you got these guys coming around. They're not going to get no feedback. By the time that rodeo's over, it's gone. So here you are. They're kind of lost. They're a boat with no oars. Where ours, I guarantee you, I just did, what was it? Shipshawana, Indiana. We had that this weekend. And them guys shined. Their numbers were perfect. And they had one little mistake. They forgot to put down, they give the guys 2 re-ride options, but they didn't put them on a sheet. That was their only mark. They forgot to put it down, So but I think for the business of judges coming up, the PBR is so far ahead of everybody because they have the money, they take the time, the initiative, and we have been looking at AI, and they've been experiencing Sean Gleason, and they've been touching bases. It's so far ahead it's so far over my head. You know what I mean? I'm the guy that said the clocks won't start off that. There's no way. Bullshit. And they made me eat it. But I think on our judging programs, and I don't care if we go to a rodeo, if you're sitting out there and you're hanging out and you got questions, them judges, they're questioning, trying to get better too. They just need to put more into it.
I think there's paces because I was listening to Casey Jones and there's pieces of AI that I think work, where numbers are data driven. But I also read an article just recently that talked about these robots of Elon Musk's doing surgery, right?
Hey.
They never miss where they're supposed to cut. But everything else that a human notices, right? I'm pretending like I'm a doctor, but let's say it's blood flow or whatever, right? You're never going to get it perfect, I don't think. Allan or Kendra with AI or a computer, but I think there's pieces of it, like how high or how fast the bull moved or the horse.
Yeah.
That's a data thing. How his torque is data driven, right? You don't have to guess how much weight he put on your arm or how heavy he was, because that can be proven. So, I think humans have to be in the mix. I just do.
I do too. I do. Then I really do. Yeah. You got to have that human side to it.
Well, Kendra, I'm going to let you, did you get through all of your Whopper questions? I think I got through most of mine with them. And I'll tell
Oh,
you, this
we're
was
so
pretty
we're
vanilla.
so all over the map, but I do think that it would be fun just for the heck of it. There's only been 100-point score in rodeo history.
Don't ask him
Wade
this
Leslie,
one.
Central Point. Wolfman, uh, October 6, 1991. Is there such a thing, Alan, as a 100-point ride?
I don't believe so. Because the bull didn't do
Why?
his job. He didn't buck the guy off.
That is such a simple, valid point right there.
He has one job to do.
So if a
is to
bull's a
buck the
50,
cow.
the guy can't be there.
Yeah, he can.
If the
Bull
bull's a
ain't a
50,
50 though.
then the guy, right?
He won't be riding him because he did his job. He won. The bull won.
Right.
I love that.
Yeah.
So interesting.
And,
So
and get back to
simple.
the 100-point ride. Nice try. And you're gonna like. I got a great story on this. If you guys want to hear it, probably Troy Dunn's supposed to beat him. The next rider out on Outlaw. Very next rider out. He goes, okay. I guess I can't win first. He gets on and just spurs Outlaw and great bull ride. Anyway, Russell Davis. I hope he's listening. Was judging. Anyway, Jack Hannum calls me, and he goes, "Hey, will you judge with Russell at Roseburg?" And I've known Russell was raised with me, right? I go, "Yeah, oh yeah, sure I will." And so after every ride, bareback riding, bronc riding, bull riding, at Bobby Christian's on the rodeo, I'd walk up with Russell. I'm 39. You're not 50, are you? It was bad. It was terrible. But yeah, it was. Yeah, it was.
I just, to
It was
me,
painful.
it like, I'll say I've never been on the back of a bull, but it's like Wolfman was a lightweight and everybody wanted him. And, he was that electric fun, whatever. But I think of like Ty and Cody Custer and those guys, they just couldn't wait licking their chops because he wasn't going to back them off. And then I'm like, 100? Man, it was just like,
No,
wow.
I mean, I'll give you an example, and you guys were there. The night Cody Custer rode him at the finals, and Troy Dunn rode the Brennel. Don't know what happened there, guys, but then it had big check marks on these evaluations now, because not even close. Just by criteria. No, speed didn't get the win there.
Yeah. Well,
Based
so
on degree
Once
of
again,
difficulty.
yes, degree of difficulty. Yep.
Well, so I'm not going to open this can of worms, but it's always a fun one to open. I get asked because of my time with the PBR, best bull riders ever. We have all had that question. The only thing that I say, and I won't answer that. Now, one of my favorites, because of my respect for him, was Adriano. Like Adriano to me
Absolutely.
was one of my favorites. Not saying he was better. I mean, you had McBride, but here's what I tell them, and I'm going to ask you if you would put anybody else in the top 5. I put Denny Flynn in the top 5 in my lifetime that I've ever seen. Would you have anybody in the top 5 that someone might not think of?
John Quintana.
See, I don't remember Quintana. Do you, Kendra?
No, I was too young. Yeah.
Every ranked bull that they couldn't ride, Quintana rode. Listen to this. I'm at LeFew's house, and Quintana cracks back out. He's been off, I don't know, 3-4 years. He hadn't been riding. I think he's selling cattle for Serbia or something. He enters Tulsa. It's the first time that Harry Vold buys 7s. He goes, I got this bull 777. He's telling us, So he goes down there. He's 90. He calls us up and he goes, I just rode one of the rankest bulls I've ever rode. We go, bullshit. You rode almost every rank one. He goes, no, seriously. We didn't even know what 7s was. It wasn't 2 months later. We're going, holy cow, that's the one he rode, That guy he was all there. And there's so many through them generations. And here's the next thing that we don't look at. Most of the time, the PBR, I'm not taking nothing away from them because they get on the rankest bulls consistently, right? Day in and day out. But they get on the same, say, 74 degrees, in an indoor arena, same buck and shoot, no snow, no mud, no different deliveries. It's all where in the old days they got in the mud, the left hand, right hand delivery, whatever you had at the rodeo, you had to get on that bull. So they went through a lot of elements that was different, but the PBR, these guys that are getting on PBR, they're getting on buckers.
Well, and you also
They
don't
are,
have
and
to
it-
guess. You don't have to guess what you're getting on, because if a bull changes his trip, back when I was in the PBR, if he gets a little wishy very long, he's gone. And
He's gone.
And you know what you're getting. Now you know you're getting
Yeah.
rank, I'll give you that. But when you crawl down over a horse or a bull that you don't know which two trips he's gonna have, boy, that's gotta be, I would think, the hardest, right?
Yeah, yeah. But Denny Flynn, you hit Denny Flynn. There's a handful that I'm just trying to go back through and think of that are just fantastic. I really like to see him in this day and age. And here's the next thing I put in this equation is you, in our era, you would ride 5 or 6, 7 hunks of crap. You get your riding bad, and all of a sudden here comes your good bulls. It takes you 2 or 3 to get the riding good. As soon as you get the riding good, you get back on 2 or 3 more pieces of crap, and you go. It's one of them deals, where it's here you get to riding here on these bulls. You got your game on.
Well, I produced the Extreme Bulls finals in Pendleton, and I told Kendra this, and I don't know that Kendra agrees with me. Best set overall, now I could have picked out about 5 guys I could have done without. Best set of overall PRC bull riders I've seen in a long, long, long time. And definitely
doing good.
the bareback riding and the bronc riding. Like, I just think.
Absolutely.
I'm not saying that there hasn't been greats along, but as a whole,
No.
the bareback riding crop, do you agree?
We're
or
healthy.
disagree?
No, I think we're healthier, and we've been in 15, 20 years of contestants for the PRCA. I think the bull riders are riding good. The bareback. Well, I'm so glad to see bareback. For years there, hell, we'd be having bareback riding. We got a pretty good load of them, and then bronc riders, they never go away. they last forever.
They do. All right, well, we're running into the back of it. I wanted to, Kendra, any last thoughts? Otherwise, I'll close it off. Allan, I just want to say the amount of respect I have for you is incredible. And that's,
Thank
you
you.
know, that's not BS if I wouldn't say it. It's the
Thank you.
truth. One of my longtime, this is the real deal. And, they need more like you. And I appreciate you for the human you are. I appreciate you for
Thank you.
standing up for what's right and always doing what's right. And you're truly the top of the
Thank
line.
you. Thank you. Appreciate you guys. I'm blessed. I am blessed. I'm blessed to be. I am for my life and the people I've met and everything else. I'm very blessed.
Aren't we blessed? We can say what we can sit here and talk about all of the things that are wrong. Could you not pick the relationships in our sport and the people
No.
that give and help and the brotherhood and sisterhood that we have in this? It's unmatched.
You know what? I got to go to the Hondo, and it was a hell of an event. It was fantastic. And my top deal, and I told Jolie this, was I got to see everybody I haven't got to see in 4 or 5 years. Yeah. I did. Them bulldoggers, and they're jacking me, trying to get on my horse, and I mean, I got to see people I haven't got to see if I've missed. I've missed them. Judging or not, I just wanted to be around them. That's the best thing
They've
about
missed
it.
you too.
Oh, thank you.
They have missed you too. That's for
Thank you
sure.
very much.
Well, everybody, thank you for
Thank
joining
you
us.
very much. Because
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kendra.
no, you're good. I second what you say. Allan earned his respect over a lifetime.
Well,
And-
we're putting together, we're slowly in No Spin putting together kind of our hardcore roundtable we're going to do sometime, right? We're picking out our guests that are the right ones for this hardcore roundtable. I'm talking about 8 or 10 of us. And boy, oh boy, you fit in there. It'll be a fun one. It'll be a fun one.
Okay. Okay.
Well, all No Spinners, If you don't know him, look him up. The best there's ever been. Still very good. Still killing it in the PBR. This has been episode 84 of No Spin Rodeo. We hope you learned something. We thank you for joining us. By the way, if you want some comments or something, we can get Allan back on. But if you want to send us some feedback, remember you can text that at 817-668-2395, or you can email us at nospinfeedback@gmail.com. I hope you didn't write that down, Jordan, or Jolie didn't, because
No.
I know you'll be the guy that's sending us stuff just to throw us off.
Yeah, you're right.
Thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you next
Thank you.
Tuesday. Everybody have a